Um, Folks, it's 12:30. Mannix Ryan is my name. Thank you very much for joining. I am the UK sales lead for Dropbox and HelloSign. I'm based in Dublin. And on the call with me today, I have my colleague, our technical expert in everything HelloSign and Dropbox, Mr. Ross Cosgrave.
Hey Mannix, how are you today?
Hey Ross, how are you? Folks, just a couple of little tips just to get them make the most out of this call. Now, I know we're all Zoom experts at this stage, but if you're looking at the slides, if you go to the top of your screen and see View Options, and click on the drop down and hit Fit to Window, it might just display a little bit nicer for you when Ross is going through his slides. Also, if you would like to contribute, we would really like this to be as interactive as possible. So you can pop a question into the chat or the Q&A, and we will respond to you. So thank you very much for joining us today, folks. Normally, myself and Ross, when we go out and we like to meet potential customers and our customers, we like to go to a really fancy hotel in London and do a very intensive day of networking, and then retire to the lounge for a nice steak dinner and a bottle of fine wine. Unfortunately, given the current situation, that's no longer possible. So we're here today in the format of a webinar. And what we'd like to talk to you about is HelloSign. So just to give you a little bit of background here, Dropbox acquired HelloSign last year. HelloSign is a leader in the electronic signature space, and it's particularly strong regarding its integrations with the like of Salesforce and its API. What we're going to go through today is Ross is going to cover over all of the basic elements. But one thing I'd like to get out of the way early on the call, because it always comes up, is that one of the questions that we get a lot of the time is, are electronic signatures legal in the UK and Europe? And the answer to that is categorically yes. Electronic signatures are covered under the IDAS framework, and we are very happy, and we will be following up with the information after the call. But we are happy to do a deep dive with this at a later date. But rest assured, legal signatures are legal and are recognized, and there is a European-wide framework under which they fall. And the next piece then is GDPR, which is always top of mind, and they are also GDPR compliant. And at any stage after the call, we're happy to do a deep dive. But the purpose of this call is to introduce you to electronic signatures, and also remove the harassment of emailing, scanning, posting documents, which under today's conditions is not really possible anymore. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat and we will get to them. And now I'll hand you over to Ross, who's going to take us through this show.
Thanks, Mannix. So the agenda today is very simple. We're going to quickly look at the headache of printing, signing, scanning, and email. And as Mannix alluded to there, it's not really possible to do that these days. I'm working from home at the moment. I don't even have a printer. So I'm going to first of all go through a use case of a headache and a pain of this. Then we're going to move on then swiftly to removing that headache using HelloSign. I have a few different examples that I'll go through today, and then we'll finish up with a Q&A. So keep those questions coming in as we go through all of this. So this first slide, it might look a little bit messy because this is sort of the current way that we get documents signed. I'm just going to talk you through this slide first of all. This slide here has a company called Hanford Inc. It's represented here by the H logo. They have a new employee starting called Harry and a hiring manager called George. And this is the process that would actually have to be followed, where someone would need.
I just want to check something there. Can you just move the slide on there? Or it might be me who needs to do it.
I think that's myself. Can everyone see that again?
Yeah, we can see that now.
Apologies for that. So this is the messy slide I was talking about. So this is a current process of if you were to get a new hire to sign a contract and then also to be signed off by a hiring manager. So there's 10 steps involved in this, where a HR department has to send a contract out either by mail or email. that person has to print the contract out, sign it by hand, scan it back in, send it back. Sometimes they mightn't have seen the email. They have to be sent reminders manually. And it's overall quite a messy and long process that can take days and if not weeks. And what I'm going to be able to show you today, how we can reduce this whole workflow into a matter of minutes, which I'll be able to show you through the webinar today. So before that though, I just want to show you exactly the examples I'm going to be showing you today. So if one of these examples here is like what you really want to hear about today, make sure you hang on. So the first one, I'm going to just start us off nice and easy, how quickly you can sign an email attachment using HelloSign. Then I'm going to move on to the new hire contract signature, where I'm going to show the workflow of someone sending out the document, the employee signing the contract, and the hiring manager signing off on it as well, and how easy it is for everybody from producing the document to signing the document. Another piece that might be very relevant in this time as well around remote working is be able to send documents out in bulk. For instance, we have a new remote working policy here, and everyone in the office has to sign, read the policy and has to sign off on it. With our bulk sending feature, you can send the same document to hundreds of people in a couple of clicks. Then we'll move on to our Salesforce integration. We've built out this Salesforce integration specifically for Salesforce, and it means that you can get all of the benefits of HelloSign directly from Salesforce without needing to log into HelloSign separately. And then finally, for anyone that really wants to go deeper, we have the API, which we'll discuss, and how you can integrate that into the likes of a website or an application. And again, what we really pride ourselves on here in HelloSign is we make this easy to use for everybody. So if you're the person signing the document, it's easy. If you're someone creating a document, it's easy as well. And if you're someone who's a web developer or a developer in some shape or form, we have great API documentation, and it's really easy to integrate HelloSign into whatever workflow you're using. So with that being said, let's jump over to my demo environment, and I'm going to show you how quickly you can sign a document. This might be quite relevant for everyone. I'm sure at some point in everyone's life, they've had to sign a rental agreement. Now, this is my inbox. I wish it was this empty all of the time, but we have a rental agreement from George. And with the HelloSign add-on here for Gmail, you can quickly sign this. Now, I know not everyone on the call today might be a Gmail user. I'm going to also show you how you could do this if you weren't using Gmail, if you're using Outlook, or any type of document that was an attachment on an email. But for this today, we'll use the integration. It automatically detects that I have the rental agreement attached. I hit next. It's going to bring me into the HelloSign environment, where it's going to easily let me drag and drop my signature into the correct locations and fill out any other information that is on that document. So the document is loaded up now. And this is where we can actually modify the document and put our signatures in place. So at the very last page of this document here is where the tenant needs to sign. Very simply, I grab my signature, place it here. No need to print, no need to scan. I can even add a date. And if there's any other information I needed to add, I could add like a text box if I need to put my address in and so on. Hit continue. This will send this back to Gmail. If I click back to my tab here, it's just loading up, and I can reattach it to the email and send it back to George in the matter of minutes. So I attach it to the document, and then I'm finished. So again, something that would have taken an hour or so, printing it out, signing it, putting it back into an email. I've just done it in about 60 seconds.
And Ross, sorry, we're just getting a question in there, Ross. How does that look like in Outlook, Microsoft Outlook, and Apple Mail, for instance?
So if you wanted to use this sort of same functionality, you could just download the document as an attachment, and I'll show you how then you could just upload it really quickly with drag and drop in the HelloSign dashboard. So that's what I'll move on to next. So just say I didn't use Gmail, I was using Outlook, for instance, I could hit download attachment. On my next tab here is the HelloSign dashboard, which is a nice segue into showing you what it looks like and a nice, easy to use, clear user interface.
And would that be the same for Apple Mail?
That would be correct as well. So what you would do is you download your attachment. For instance, I want to sign this document myself. So this is my signing area. So I would click, I just need to sign the document. I drag and drop the document into HelloSign. And once it's loaded in there, I can go into that same editing view that I showed you a few moments ago and drag and drop my signature onto the document. So it's very similar, other than you're not doing it from Gmail.
Okay. And is the person, does the person that you that receives the signature, do they need a HelloSign account?
No, they don't. So they'll just receive this back. They don't need to know what HelloSign is. They will just receive the document back. Again, you can send it straight back to them via HelloSign if you want. So if I wanted to send this straight back to George, I could just send it here, or I could download it as an attachment like this, and then reattach it into an email that I'm sending back to him.
Okay, thank you.
So that's the really simple use case. And again, I think everyone has had to, at some point in their life, sign a rental agreement. And that just shows you the amount of time it saves. So then I'd like to move on to our next example. This is the biggest example that we'll talk through today. It's of a new hire, a new employee called Harry Matthews. He's about to start in a company called Hanford Inc. And they've just got off the phone to him, with an offer. He's accepted it, and they said they're going to send over a contract for signature. We also have George, who is the hiring manager, who needs to sign off on this workflow as well. So how does this look on HelloSign from everyone's point of view? So I jump back into the HelloSign dashboard. I'm going to bring us to our next area, templates. So we have two types of templates you can create, and these are for documents that you use again and again. So employment contracts are a very good example, where they're quite similar, but you have to put in certain bits of data like people's name, addresses, and different things like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a template that I've created before for new hires. It's my employment contract here. And I can very simply just use the template by clicking Use Template here. Now, what happens on HelloSign? So any document that I have put into this template will be uploaded into HelloSign. So I have the employment contract. I've also added an employee handbook. So you can actually make like a pack of documents. Not all of them have to be signed, but it makes it a bit more user-friendly. Then I specify who's going to be signing this today. So I have Harry, and I have George, who's the hiring manager. So that's really simple. They've been input. I've also requested that I need Harry to attach some items as well when he's returning a signature. And what I've asked him for is photo ID. And you could ask him for anything. This could be a work reference, anything at all, any certificates or anything like this. And again, to talk around security of e-signature as well, we can add another layer of security onto Harry's signature, requiring that he needs a password to access the document. This password could be sent to him via email, text message, whatever way you see fit. And it means that when Harry receives this email, he'll also need a PIN code. Again, securing the knowledge that this is Harry, who has access to his email, who has access to this PIN code. And everything as well that I'll show you later on in our document section is tracked and it's auditable as well. Two other little items here before I move on. A lot of people ask about signer reassignment. Now, it's probably not needed in this use case, but a lot of times if you send a contract out to a business, you might get an email back saying, hey, actually, I'm not the person who needs to sign off on this. It's actually my manager. I don't have the authority. You can have this tick box here where it allows you to, the people you've chosen to reassign. And again, this is all tracked that they've changed the signer to somebody else. And I'll show you how that works later on. And also, if you want to create a workflow, you can also have it that, in this case, Harry needs to sign first, followed by George, and you could add multiple people along this list, and it gets passed from one to another.
And Ross, if people need to send back attachments or IDs or tax numbers or other information, how does that work?
So in the next screen here, I'll actually show you how that works, but they'll be able to upload it directly locally from their device. They could take a picture with their phone. In my example today, I actually have a file that they had stored on their phone that they're going to upload. So what happens here, when I send this email out, now Harry and George have been told there's a document that is out for signature. George is basically put in waiting while Harry signs. And once Harry signs the document, then it's passed to George so he can sign off on it. So let's pop over and have a look at what Harry is seeing. So Harry's going to access this from his phone. And this is another great benefit of using HelloSign. You can access these documents from anywhere and it's mobile friendly. So I pop into his email. We can see he's received the document already. We've got the custom logo of Hanford here. So again, you can customize it to your own business. We can review and sign, and it'll bring you to the HelloSign website. Once you're brought here, he'll be asked for his PIN code. we sent it to him via text message, so he knows what it is, puts the PIN code in, authenticating that it's Harry. We can say get started, and it's actually going to bring him to the areas that he needs to fill out. So first of all, he needs to tick a box saying he's read the terms and conditions. Then he's also going to need to sign the document. So you can do this by hand if you want, or you can upload an image if you want, or you can actually just type it out. And we've asked for him to type his name in as well. And that's it. So he's done all the signing part. Now it brings him automatically to the other piece that's required, which is photo ID. So using his phone, he could take a picture if he had a picture of his passport, for instance. He already knew this was going to happen, so he has one prepared from earlier. And he's going to upload a picture of his passport, which is going to be attached to this whole document process. Again, you're going to be legally bound. He's warned at the top that it's a legally binding document, hits agree, and that's it. So Harry can go back to sitting on his couch in lockdown, watch a bit more Netflix, and he can wait for the process to complete. So if we move on to see what George sees. So George now would have received one email saying, hey, there's a new document out for signature, heads up. And now that Harry has signed the document, he'll get another email in a moment, which will allow him actually sign the document as well. And here it comes.
And Ross, how do we know Harry is who he says he is? How is this all legal?
So again, through the audit log, which we'll go on to next, you're going to see exactly who the person is, the IP address of that person, the full audit trail of the document, which is appended. And this is what makes these legally binding and very secure way of actually having document management as well. The fact that you can actually have a full audit. And that's actually the next step that I'm going to show. So this is George and Harry have signed off on their document. Let's go back to the original person who sent it out, which was myself. And this will bring me to the third place I want to show you within HelloSign, our document management area. Every document that you send in HelloSign is kept in this area, okay? And it can give you things of documents that are out for signature, things that are waiting my signature, ones that are completed, declined. If someone doesn't want to sign a contract, they can decline it. And they can also give a reason why, so you can act on it quickly and resend it. This is the one that we just sent out to Harry and George. It's completed. And I just want to show you a few little pieces here around the security that Mannix just touched on. So first of all, you'll notice now the end of each page has a document ID, and it's referenced on every single page. We can check and see if everyone's signatures are on there. Yeah, all looks good. But the really important page is at the very bottom, which is our audit trail page. And this is where it's really interesting. So you can see here who sent the document. So you can see Ross Cosgrave sent the document. It was sent to George and Harry. We can see exactly when they viewed it to the exact second, and the IP address to give the location of where they were. Then we can also see when they've signed the document. Another nice piece as well is when Harry was authenticating, we've already recorded that, and we've already recorded as well when he uploaded the document. And that also then is attached to the document itself.
Thanks, Ross. That's great.
We've just shown you a whole process of onboarding a new hire, giving them a nice onboarding pack with employee handbook, getting them to actually sign their employee contract with passport ID as well, and then getting signed off by a hiring manager in the matter of minutes. So moving on to bulk sending. So again, I referenced this at the beginning. If you needed to send a document out to your whole employee base, there's hundreds of people working in the company. How do you do this? How quickly can it be done? Within HelloSign's dashboard as well, we have our bulk send feature. And this allows you to choose a template.
Maybe just put a bit of color on this, Ross. I have a customer down in South Africa, and he was very heavily involved in the health and safety. They run manufacturing processes where every employee had to sign a document. It was the same document for everybody, and he was sending up to 90 documents at a time. By the feedback that he was given to us was that by utilizing bulk send, with a couple of clicks, he was sending his documentation to 90 people. and within 24 hours, he had 72 signed contracts, signed documents back. And in his own words, this was a complete game changer for him. And he estimated that he was saving a couple of days of work of chasing people looking for documentation. So this has been a real key feature for a lot of our customers, and it's with HelloSign Enterprise Plus.
Thanks, Alex. And again, this is exactly the sort of use case that we're talking about here. This is a remote working policy that all of our employees have to sign. We upload a CSV file. Basically, what the CSV file is just a list of names. So here's the CSV file that I'm using here. So I have 31 people that need to sign this document. I have 31 email addresses, and I put extra security with PIN codes. And if you want, you can also have other custom fields that you can add into the CSV to fill in other information like people's, addresses, phone numbers, and things like that.
And Ross, can they see each other's documents?
No, they can't. So they will just receive the document in their email, they'll sign it. And the lovely thing about this is that you guys can keep track of this as well and remind people if they haven't sent it. So again, if this brings us straight back into our documents management area, 0 of 31 people have signed the document. As people sign it, this number obviously will go up. If at some point after a few days, you still haven't got people signed, you can quickly click remind, and it will send out a reminder to the people that are left. Again, taking a headache out of trying to figure out who signed, who hasn't signed, and contacting them by email, phone, whatever way you usually do it. So again, it automates this process.
So this is a really good way to catch the people who never sign the documents and never send them back.
Yeah, exactly. And they're on a list. So that's bulk sending. So again, I've just sent something out to 31 people and in a matter of clicks. The next piece that could be very interesting to a lot of you on the call as well is our Salesforce integration. We know Salesforce is used globally, and it's a massive platform, and a lot of contracts get sent out from Salesforce. So we put a lot of time and effort in implementing HelloSign seamlessly into Salesforce and have all of the features that I've shown you available to you through the Salesforce dashboard. So if I jump into Salesforce here, this is the older look. Some of you might be on the Lightning experience, but once you install HelloSign, you'll have the options of having these 4 tabs available to you. Now, you don't have to turn them all on if you don't want to. You'll be able to get to all your HelloSign settings. You can check and see what signatures are out for request at the moment, which ones have been completed, and you can even create templates within Salesforce, never having to log into HelloSign from HelloSign.com. If we continue on with our example of Harry, so Harry's now been hired by Hanford Inc. He's joined the sales team. He's about to sign his first deal. And it's a renewal for a company called Forest Cloud Renewal. So we click into the opportunity and we have a nice use HelloSign button here. And just to explain what's happening a little bit in the background, because of the integration, we can pull any field that is in Salesforce, and we can pull that field into a document that needs to be signed. So for this example, we're going to pick George that needs to sign the document. And this is going to pull in George's name, his phone number, his billing address, and any other information that was stored in Salesforce is automatically populated into the contract without any human interaction. If you want, you could have that a one-button click, but I just wanted to show you for purposes of the demonstration today. So his name was pulled in, his billing address was pulled in, his phone number was pulled in. These were all fields within Salesforce. And again, you can see his name was pulled in here where it says name. Hit continue and request signature. So that's it. So that person, George, now will receive the contract directly from Salesforce. And if Harry wants to keep an eye and see exactly what's happening with this request, he can keep an eye on it here, and it's all logged, and you can see it's out for one signature and it's still waiting to be signed by George.
Okay. Ross, I might just pause you there because I have a couple of questions coming in the chat. And folks, thank you very much for your questions. We will get to them all. Martina, if I have a Dropbox business account, do I automatically also have a HelloSign account? The answer to that is no, Martina. You do not automatically have a HelloSign account. HelloSign is a separate product which you can add on. However, it is fully integrated to your Dropbox. So you can, from a Dropbox folder, you can click on a document and you can send for signature directly. The second question then from Jürgen, can the document storage location be a Dropbox team folder? That's a very good point, Jürgen. Ross, I might get you to touch on that. And where do the actual documents, what are your options around where your contracts lie after they've been signed?
Yeah, great. So in terms of integrations with cloud storage, we integrate fully with Dropbox, the likes of OneDrive, and all the other cloud storage providers. You can very simply turn it on an individual basis by going to the integration section. What does that do? That will actually create a HelloSign folder within your Dropbox. And then anything that you get signed or completed will automatically be copied over. Now, your question was around team folders though. So what if I want to actually store it in a specific folder where everyone can access it on my team? You can also do that leveraging the API. So just with the standard enterprise model, you can still leverage the API to direct files to be downloaded from HelloSign and then moved or copied into a directory within your Dropbox. It's a very simple process, and yeah, you can decide if it's going to be downloaded as a PDF, for instance, and then moved into that specific area. Again, using the two APIs to connect.
Thanks for that, Ross. So again, just to clarify that, if I have a Dropbox business team, they can send the HelloSign signed contract back to their Dropbox folder. If they want to send it to a team folder, and people who are aware of the difference here on the call, if they want to send to a team folder, there's a little bit of work involved. Is that correct?
A very little bit of work. They basically there's two API endpoints. You want to wait till you hear that a new document has arrived in, and then you want to call on it to basically download the file, and then you use the Dropbox API endpoint to upload the file into the specific folder. So you'd be looking at about 3 different endpoints just to be able to download from HelloSign and then move into Dropbox. And
just because I know, conscious of time, will just a follow-up, will that mean that multiple copies of the documents will exist?
So anything that you copy into Dropbox will be a copy from what's in HelloSign. That's correct.
Okay. Thank you, Ross.
Great. The last part then is actually around the API. So this is perfect. So what if you want to integrate HelloSign into your own product, into your own website? So again, at the very beginning, I was saying that we sort of pride ourselves in being a product that's easy to use for someone that's on their phone, like Harry, who's signing off on a new hire contract. It's also easy if you're just using the HelloSign dashboard to send out contracts. It's easy to use, again, from Salesforce with our integration, but it's also really easy to use if you're a developer and want to integrate it fully into your website. So the last piece I'll touch on today is actually how we do that.
Just 1 second there, Ross.
Yeah.
This, just as we move into API, folks, myself and Ross are happy to stay on the call because this can generally lead to a few questions. If you need to drop off the call, thank you very much for attending, and we will be following up. But myself and Ross will be available and are going to continue on because this is quite an interesting topic. Thanks, Ross.
So just to bring you to our API documentation page, it's very well kept. There's quick start guides. There's video documentation. We even allow you to set up a testing account where you can completely test the integration in like a sandbox environment before you decide to actually integrate it into your website. We have all our API references here. Again, different objects you can call on, the callbacks. We have example code snippets for everything as well. And we have different libraries as well and all the SDKs. If you guys would like to see how this works yourself, and I'm going to show you this here as well, if you go to demo.hellosign.com, you can start up your own little mini web page, which is what this is here. So imagine this is the Hanford Inc. website. And when they have a new hire starting, they don't want them to be getting an email. They want them to go directly to the Hanford Inc. website. They want them to sign in, and then they want them to sign the employment contract, for instance, directly on their website.
So is this like a white labeling type of a situation, Ross?
Exactly. So you can actually embed HelloSign into your web page using iframes, and it's fully white labeled as well. So in this example, it's saying it's not legally binding just because it's a demo environment, but you'd have your company logo up the top. There's no sign of HelloSign. It's using your own company URL, so you're not getting redirected to a third party. You can put in the details and fill it in, just like I showed you in our other examples today, and sign off on something really quickly and easy. And complete the whole process through your website. So this is one of the most asked for features that developers ask for. Can I embed this into my website or into my application? And can I remove any labeling of HelloSign and white label the whole thing so it has a nice look and feel for my customers using my product? And the answer is yes to that.
And Ross, a lot of the time we talk about the API, and it can be a bit of a buzzword, but the API really relies on having coders and software developers in your business. In terms of man hours and the cost of this API work, how does HelloSign stand there?
It's way faster to implement. So compared to our competitors, like we say we have really quick turnaround times. Why are they such quick turnaround times? It's because of the page I showed you previously. We keep this spotless of all of our documentation, our quick start guides, every call that you could be thinking of is all documented here with examples as well. We even have a live chat you can avail of where you can be working on something, get a little bit stuck, start up a live chat and actually talk to one of our API developers from the HelloSign team and ask them questions. So, yeah.
Would that mean there's a library of existing code there that can be implemented?
Exactly. So all of the calls, everything that you might need to integrate into your website or into a workflow is here with examples. So if I go into my callbacks area here, we can see different examples of warnings, different constants, but basically everything will have examples to go along with the codes or the calls that you might be making on the API.
Okay.
That's everything on the API. So maybe just to round up on what we spoke about today. So how HelloSign removes the headache. You can move faster. So again, I've shown you how quickly you can move and onboard someone to signing a contract, a new employment contract. There's a high level of security. So we have that audit trail that we showed you. We also have the ability to send documents with codes as well. It's easy to implement. Again, this is referencing the implementation of our API and all the documentation we have around it and all the resources that we put behind you if you're looking to integrate your application. And then it lowers the cost. Again, it lowers the cost in terms of time taken, in money spent. And again, it's good for the environment as well, trying to get away from this, paper and pen signing of documents. The last slide for today is just a couple of examples of businesses that have used HelloSign and the positive impact it's had on their business. So in terms of saving time, one of our customers is HubSpot, and 58% of contracts are now signed within the first day. Again, our example with Harry today, it's so easy to sign a document. You can do it from your phone. It makes the turnaround so much easier rather than someone going, oh, I don't have a printer. I'm going to have to call over to the parents' house to print something out to sign it and then scan it back in. I'm actually able to do this from my phone, from the couch. So
just 1 second there, Ross. Sorry, I just have a question there. So how does the licensing work? So to answer your question, Jürgen, there are two distinct pieces. There is one is the end user, which is on a per license per user basis, and the API is a separate product line because it has very different use cases. So if you're thinking of individuals in your businesses, that the best way to think about it is if you have a managing director that needs to sign a lot of documents, they would need HelloSign Enterprise. If you have a developer that is wants to build in an e-signature into an online workflow, they would need the API. We're happy to talk to you afterwards and look at it. So there are two distinct models. The API is on a per signature basis, and the enterprise is on a license per user. So I hope that answers your question. Just touching on the HubSpot piece there, Ross. 58% of contracts signed within the first day. So I don't know if there are anybody in sales on the call, but anybody looking at it through that lens who wants to get their contract signed, getting your contract signed that day is a significant advantage.
The next thing is just on improves completion rates. And again, this is another customer of ours. Instacart, the completion rate of contractor onboarding, similar to our examples today, went from 70 to 96%. And then finally, reducing the risk. So equities then, high value legal contracts that took 48 hours to complete now take as little as 11 minutes. And again, you saw the examples. I was able to go through full onboarding process with someone in a matter of minutes through this webinar. That's everything from my side today, Mannix. So I know we're answering questions as we went along, but I don't know if there's any other questions that people have.
Yeah, so just to let you know, folks, this webinar is a series of 3 webinars. The next day, we'll do a little bit more of a deep dive into how HelloSign integrates with the new Dropbox, which we have made vast improvements to, and we're going to talk about Dropbox. And then we are going to talk about a security deep dive in the 3rd webinar with our security expert. So it's a series of 3, and thank you for coming. We are on the line. We're very happy to say, and it's great to see there's so many people still online. We are happy to take calls. So Martina, for me, it seems that HelloSign is a tool for big companies. No, Martina. Well, it's a tool for all companies. There is for smaller teams. So myself and Ross, we deal with larger companies in our role in Dropbox and in HelloSign. But HelloSign also has a self-serve model, which cater for individuals. For instance, a self-employed accountant who wants to get his clients to sign documents, all the way up to very large enterprises like HubSpot. So there's a little bit of there's something for everybody in that regard. I hope that answers your question. Are there any more questions, folks? Don't be afraid. You can get stuck into the API if you like, or we're happy to take any questions. I'll give it another second. Okay, so thank you very much, folks. We're over time. I really hope that was a benefit to you. We will be sending out details after this. If you'd like to know more, you can go back through the main system, or you can go back to the person that invited you to the webinar, and we'd be delighted to talk to you. So I hope everybody is making the most out of this funny time we're in of working from home. And we hope to see you next week on the 2nd of our series of 3. One last question, Martina, do we get the recording? Yes, we will be able to have it for you there, Martina, no problem. Great stuff. Thanks very much, folks. Thank you,
Thanks,
Ross.
guys. See you now. Bye.
See you now. Bye-bye.